May 22, 1914. Translation by Sri Aurobindo. When we have discerned successively what is real from what is unreal in all the states of being and all the worlds of life, when we have arrived at the perfect and integral certitude of the sole reality, we must turn our gaze from the heights of this supreme consciousness towards the individual aggregate which serves as the immediate instrument for thy manifestation upon earth, and see in it nothing but thee, our sole real existence. Thus, each atom of this aggregate will be awakened to receive thy sublime influence. The ignorance and the darkness will disappear not only from the central consciousness of the being, but also from its most external mode of expression. It is only by the fulfillment, by the perfection of this labor of transfiguration, that there can be manifested the plenitude of thy presence, thy light and thy love. Lord, thou makest me understand this truth ever more clearly. Lead me step by step on that path. My whole being, down to its smallest atom, aspires for the perfect knowledge of thy presence and a complete union with it. Let every obstacle disappear. Let thy divine knowledge replace in every part the darkness of the ignorance. Even as thou hast illumined the central consciousness, the will in the being, enlighten too this outermost substance, and let the whole individuality, from its first origin and ascents to its last projection and most material body, be unified in a perfect realization and a complete manifestation of thy sole reality. Nothing is in the universe but thy life, thy light, thy love. Let everything become resplendent and transfigured by the knowledge of thy truth. Thy divine love floods my being. Thy supreme light is shining in every cell. All exults because it knows thee and because it is one with thee. May 23rd, 1914. O Lord, thou of whom I would be constantly conscious and whom I would realize in the smallest cells of my being, thou whom I would know as myself and see manifested in all things, thou who art the sole reality, the sole cause and aim of existence, grant that my love for thee may grow ever greater, so that I may be all love, thy love itself, and that, being thy love, I may unite integrally with thee. May this love grow more and more intense, complete, luminous, powerful. May this love become an irresistible urge towards Thee, the invincible means of manifesting Thee. May everything in this being become pure, profound, disinterested, divine love, from the unfathomable depths to the outermost substance. May the God with form who manifests in this aggregate be entirely moulded from Thy complete and sublime love, the love which is at once the source and the realization of all knowledge. May thought be clarified, organized, enlightened, transformed by Thy love. May all the life forces solely impregnated by Thy love and moulded from it, draw from it irresistible purity and constant energy, power and rectitude. May this weakened intermediary being take advantage of its weakness to reconstitute itself with elements entirely moulded from Thy love, and may this body, now a burning brazier, radiate Thy divine, impersonal, sublime, and calm love from every pore. May the brain be reconstituted by Thy love. Lastly, may Thy love overflow, flood, penetrate, transfigure, regenerate, animate all things with the power, the splendor, the sweetness and force which are its very own. In Thy love is peace. In Thy love is joy. In Thy love is Thy servitor's sovereign lever of work. Thy love is vaster than the universe and more lasting than all the ages. It is infinite, eternal. It is Thyself. And it is Thyself I want to be, and that I am. For such is Thy law, such is Thy will. May 24, 1914. O my sweet Master, let me not be submerged by outer things. They have no interest, no savour for me. If I busy myself with them, it is because I feel that such is Thy will, and the work must be accomplished integrally down to the least details of the action and substance. But it is quite enough to turn one's attention to them and infuse Thy forces into them as much as possible. They must not be allowed to take precedence of the true realities in one's consciousness. O my sweet Master, I aspire for Thee, for the knowledge of what thou art, for identification with thee. I ask for a greater love, growing always purer, always vaster, always more intense, and I find myself, as it were, submerged in matter. Is this thy reply? As thou hast thyself accepted to be thus submerged in matter so as to awaken it gradually to consciousness, is this the result of a more perfect identification with thee? Is this not thy answer to me, if thou wouldst learn to love truly? This is how thou shouldst love. In darkness and unconsciousness? O my Lord, my sweet Master, thou knowest that I belong to thee, and that always I want what thou willest. But do not let any doubt about what thou willest arise in me. Enlighten me in some way in the immutable peace of the heart. Let me be submerged in darkness if that is necessary, but at least let me know that it is thou who willest it. Lord, in response, I hear singing within my heart the hymn of gladness of thy divine and permanent presence. May 25, 1914. O Divine Master of love and purity, grant that in its least stages, its smallest activities, this instrument which wants to serve thee worthily may be purified of all egoism, all error, all obscurity, so that nothing in it may impair, deform, or stop thy action. How many little recesses lie yet in shadow, far from the full light of thy illumination. For these I ask the supreme happiness of this illumination. O, to be the pure, flawless crystal which lets thy divine ray pass without obscuring, coloring, or distorting it, not from a desire for perfection, but so that thy work may be done as perfectly as possible. And when I ask thee this, the I which speaks to thee is the entire earth, aspiring to be this pure diamond, a perfect reflector of thy supreme light. All the hearts of men beat within my heart. All their thoughts vibrate in my thought. The slightest aspiration of a docile animal or a modest plant unites with my formidable aspiration, and all this rises towards thee for the conquest of thy love and light, scaling the summits of being to attain thee. Ravish thee from thy motionless beatitude and make thee penetrate the darkness of suffering to transform it into divine joy, into sovereign peace. And This violence is made of an infinite love which gives itself, and a trustful serenity which smiles with the certitude of thy perfect unity. O my sweet Master, thou art the triumpher and the triumph, the victor and the victory.